When should you do it? The most important time to do it is after the pruning. So this is going to depend where you live. In upstate New York, for me, it was April. Here in North Carolina, it's early March. So whenever you do that first pruning, late winter and early spring, that is the single most important time to do it. Because if you put those synthetics down, they're going to last, it depends on what kind you get, but they'll last a couple months. That cottonseed meal can last anywhere from 3 to 4 months in your garden. So you're building longevity for the season. And that's why the most important one is certainly at that spring pruning, your first pruning. We're looking at Double Delight right now. When else should you do it? The other times you can do it is after the first flush of roses is the next most important time. You might say, oh, Eric, what do you mean flush of roses? Roses are like the 4th of July. You will see that they bloom primarily all at once within a couple week window, and then you need a deadhead, and then you don't have any blooms. So no blooms on Yolande Dargan, no blooms on Alina. Mr. Lincoln is pretty much done. There's a couple stragglers. You can see Double Delight is already on its second cycle. So when you've had that first flush, that first fireworks of blooms, and you've deadheaded and things are on their way out. So again, Marilyn Monroe, some older blooms. Once we deadhead those, it'll be kind of a naked bush. Louise Estes is done, and so forth. So we're past our first flush of blooms. Now is the time to do it again. That's where you do your 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup synthetic, and then your cup of rose tone or plant tone if you choose, another cup of alfalfa if you want to, and cottonseed meal. So after a flush of blooms is the next time you fertilize. And then for many of you, that is it, especially depending on the climate you live in. I mentioned upstate New York where we lived before. We would do the fertilizer application in April at pruning, and then I would do another one after the May or the June blooms. Up there it's not until about mid-June, so I would tend to do my second fertilizing round late June into early July, and that was it. That would prompt those blooms to grow really well in the month of August and early September, and that was it for the year. So it just depends. I would say colder climates, you're probably only doing this twice a year. That is Sunny Sundays. What a bloom. So twice a year, again, everybody does it the first spring pruning of the year, and then after your first flush, and you only get 2 flushes up north, so that would be it, just twice a year. If you're down south like I am, you may do a third one. So in that case, for me, I would do it in February. I'm doing it now in May, and then I may do one in August or September for that fall bloom cycle. So it's just going to depend. The when is where you live. All of us are going to be doing it at our first spring pruning, a second time after the first flush, and for the majority of the country, that could be it. If you live in a warmer climate, you may do one more time in late summer. You'll notice that I never said anything in the fall. You really don't want to do it too late into the year because some of these organics, like I mentioned, take many, many months to break down. So you're just encouraging growth going into a season that you're not going to utilize, which is winter. This is Zach Nobles right now. So hopefully this video cleared it up. Soil test, soil test, soil test. See what your soil's lacking. Make sure the pH is right. In my case, we need some potassium because it's low because of the sandy soil, and then some type of slow release synthetic, and then at least a cup of some type of organic. You can do it pretty easily with one of the tones because they have a mixture, as we showed you, of various things. And if you want to add some additional stuff, that is Crescendo. You can certainly do that. The advantage of doing synthetic slow release and organic slow release is you just don't have this jump in growth. I have not done any liquid feeding this year so far. Sometimes I do it, but you tend to get this excessive growth, and insects, especially spider mites, really like this. This is slow and steady wins the race. I mean, look at these leaves. The leaves are looking great. The growth is fine. On our bushes that are not doing as well because of the canker, we're getting really good new basil breaks. Those are, again, as we showed you in the video the other day, are new canes for the future. So it's a tried and true method, slow release synthetic and some combination of organics. This is Jewel Grace, multiple basal breaks, and you can see some new growth down below. Here's Let Freedom Ring, also new growth down below. That alfalfa pellets, I think you'll be really happy with that, excuse me. If you're gonna pick one of the organics to add to, definitely recommend that one. It has a growth stimulant that releases tricontinol as it breaks down, and very, very happy. So that's it. This is what we're looking like here in the garden. I should mention, it's a beautiful day today. You get this down when you can. You know, you've got a nice window after your first flush of roses bloom, but we're finally getting some rain here in eastern North Carolina. We're have been extremely dry, and we're going to get a couple inches of rain. Unfortunately for the mothers, on Mother's Day it looks kind of wet, and then we're going to get some rain most of this week. So this is a good time to get this down so it can start working in the soil as the rain helps break it down. Hope everyone's doing well. I'll last leave you with Dizzy Heights. I haven't showed this that much in the garden. I always tend to forget about it. This is actually from my father's garden, and Steve Singer at Wisconsin Roses grafted it for me. So if there's ever a rose that means something to you, that you want a copy of and you want to keep, he will do a custom graft. Obviously charge you for it, but it's very reasonable. And this climbing rose grew in my father's garden and could not root it. Did not root very easily, tried for years and years and years. So I sent him some material and he rooted it. This is a maiden rose. I'm going to do an update on the maidens in a second video from 2 years ago. So look how good this is doing right now. It's a nice pink climbing rose. The blooms are outstanding, and it's a very vigorous grower. So this is on a maiden multiflora plant and doing quite well. Hope everyone's doing well, and I hope you learned something with that video. And again, ask questions. I'll try to answer them as best as I can on this channel. This is what it's all about, growing and sharing your love of roses. Thank you.
Here we go, Louisa.